my country.
In your country.
So there's many factors that shape the image of Europe in my country. As you know, like Tunisia is in North Africa, so it's very close to Europe basically. Italy is very close by. So there's like different perception based on each country. But mainly Europe for young people in my country seems like a rescue spot, or like they just like it's a dream place, you know, that people just go there just to save their lives. They think it's like heaven in there basically, which is sometimes wrong because Tunisia like produces lots of illegal immigrants from like to Europe, especially to Italy, and it doesn't usually end well. Like in 80% of the cases it doesn't usually end well. But given like the high unemployment rates in my country, which is like 16 to 15%, around that number, so yeah, that is why people just seek illegal immigration to Europe. I think that the main challenge between when it comes to the African-European relations is the fact that Europe, because we know that there's like still like westernized neo-colonialism schemes that are still there. Europe is still like exploiting Africa. For example, like I can mention the example of France and how like more than I think 12 to 13 countries still use the French currency, even though it's like decades after the colonization, you know. So I think that basically the real challenge is how to make the relationship like kind of equal, because right now there's this kind of economic dependency from Africa on Europe, and there's kind of like the exploitation schemes from Europe or from the Western world in general, and right now even more in China, to to Africa. So like as soon as we avoid these two challenges, I think the relations between Europe and Africa are gonna improve significantly. Should Africa and Europe cooperate more, or should Africa look somewhere else? I think that this question is, let's say, less important right now for an African continent, but I think the real question to ask in here is basically how to improve Africa. And I think that prior to who are we going to trade with, who are we going to partner up with, I think we need to say how are we going to improve internally as a continent so we can actually achieve that cooperation. Because I don't think the issue is being a partner to Europe, with Europe, or being a partner elsewhere like Russia or China. I think the real issue is that the economic scheme of the African countries are always going to be dependent on someone else, basically. Whether it's Europe, whether it's not Europe, it doesn't really matter, you know. What matters the most is that this continent, with its current economic schemes, will not really get anything out of any economic partnership, because it's always dependent on other countries. But yeah, I think it should basically like consider all of, the continent should consider all of the options they have, and whether it's Europe, whether it's somewhere else, Asia, US, Latin America, I think it's always good to diversify the partners.